and welcome to 4,000 and Counting. This is Road Tripping episode 2. Today, we are going to be looking ahead at this weekend's fixtures between Dundee and Fife. Dundee and Belfast and Fife and Belfast. We're going to be giving our 3 players to watch from each team. Mark, where would you like to kick off today?
Let's start in alphabetical order.
Go on, then.
So let's start with Belfast. And let's start with gentleman that I spoke of briefly before, and that is Jordan Kawaguchi, the centre that looks like an absolute beast. Is going to be
really good numbers with Texas Stars a couple of years ago, mate. Really, really good numbers in the AHL, right? He's going to be legit.
Yeah, he put up respectable points in the coast, and yeah, with the Texas Stars, he was there for a season and a little bit, and yeah, 23 points in 49 games. Then he went to the coast and got 52 points in 58, followed it up with 31 points in 29 before making the move to Belfast. So I think that he's going to add a lot of excitement to an already pretty stacked roster. And to go with that, I think is going to complement very well with the likes of Conway, who I'd also add as the obvious player to watch in the Belfast organisation. What state the obvious?
Conway tore the league a new one last time he was here, eh?
Yeah. Off the back of a season in Slovakia as well, where he finished second top point scorer for Dukla Trenčín, the former club of Ben Bounds when he was out there. So I think playing
a respectable 39 points in 42 there, mate.
Very good points production, and to come out of there and back into the elite league is going to be great in a familiar setting. Surroundings.
Well, looking at his past 2 seasons in the Elite League, 21-22 and 22-23, he played 104 league games and had 168 points, 73 goals. The boy can play and he can score. Still not as good as his dad, but he's a weapon. Mate, Kevin Conway is Bainstoke fucking legend. He was, Sinsy talks about Kenny Priestley being the messiah of Sheffield. Well, that is exactly the same with Kevin Conway and Basingstoke. Man, he was good. Like, so good. And yeah, Scott's a good player. Had a really, really respectable year with Trencham, and the Trencham Mafia over there. Anyone from Guildford Flames will remember pretty much the whole entire Trenchant organization moved over to Guildford at some stage during the EPL. Milos had all the boys there, and yeah, it's a good place to play hockey. Scott, like you said, second top scorer. He's gonna come back with the bit between his teeth. We joked on the previous one. Obviously, when he left last time, he gave a bit of a fuck you to the refs, especially the Scottish ones. Do we think that's gonna have any impact on maybe, because he's not a high penalty taking guy. 56 minutes the last time in the Elite League, 56 minutes the year before, 34 entrenched in last year. He's roughly like a penalty minute a game guy. He's not a lot, right? Do we reckon we see him break the 100 penalty minutes this year? I'm gonna go, yeah. Mate, you can't draw a fucking bullseye on your back. I think he
yeah.
I think he can. I think by the way, I'm not saying that anything he said in that was right or wrong. I'm not saying the refs were shit. I'm not saying the refs were good. When he put it out, a lot of the people that did come out and say, and some other boys came out and said as well, a couple of boys we've had on the podcast. I think Nat Halbert came out when he was within agreement, and there was a few guys in agreement with it. So be interesting to see if he does have a target on his back, or it'd be interesting to see from his perspective if over the past season while he was away in Slovakia, we've seen any improvements in the refereeing, because that would be the big question.
I'm going to say that I don't think there's going to be an improvement. I'd like to see an improvement. I think it's just the same. Okay. Unless we start investing, but that is, for another video, as we always do every year, complain about the
lack of funding.
lack of funding. It's not the officiating the officials' fault necessarily. We need to address the situation of them not always being good enough, and we need to put our money where our mouth is. So it's sort of give and take on both sides there.
Yeah,
But will he have a target on his back? Absolutely, he will. And he's
yeah.
not going to change for shit. He's not going to change for anyone. So
What are you
he's
saying
going to
then?
keep playing and acting the way he does.
Under over 100 pins then.
Oh, just shy. I reckon 80, around the 80 mark.
See, now that I
Unless
say
he
it,
gets
100,
missed
100
comebacks.
seems a lot, but like I can see like an 88. Yeah, a couple of extra tens that you might not have got before. Do you know back in his first couple of years, you might have gave a I don't know. You do it with the refs all game. Ah, fuck you. You there, bullshit, whatever. There's a little chirp going on that the refs might let slide.
Yeah, that's not going to
I
happen
don't think
anymore.
he's gonna have. I don't think he's gonna have any lives on that. Like I think anytime he gives the refs, especially up in Scotland, a fuck you, probably gonna get 10.
And he's
But
also got the ability to just say fuck you to anyone that's booing him because he could just like get a
light
hattie.
it up.
Yeah.
Right, one final player from the Belfast Giants. We are going to go with.
Teammate.
Say that again, bud.
Conway's former teammate. So former part of that magical Belfast roster. We have JJ Pinich back after 2 seasons in Norway. I haven't seen the games in Norway to really judge, but I would say that given those points, I think anyone would say that that's a decent production.
This guy's a weapon, mate. I really liked him when he was in the Elite League before with Belfast. Shout out Gabe Bass as well. They've also brung him back. That's another good piece at the back end. But if you look at the Norwegian league, yeah, we don't know a huge amount about it, but we just have to look at what players Norway can produce. They beat GB 6-2 last
He
week.
did pick up though. However, after his successes in Belfast, he then went on to in his first league, his first year in Norway, and got the most points, 65 in total, and making the All-Star team.
So yeah, 2 out of the last 3 seasons, he's made the All-Star team. The guy is a winner. He won the Hockey East when he was in the NCAA. He won the Memorial Cup. He won the OHL Cup. He's won the Kelly Cup. Like when you talk about bringing winning pedigree to the lineup, he is the man. Right, let's fast forward to as you say, we go alphabetical
Dundee.
order. So we go to the Dundee Stars. Mark, tell me who is up number 1 for Dundee Stars.
Honestly, it's really hard to look past Dryden Dow. I think the captain's made, yeah, I do, and the guy has made a huge impression since being in Scotland. He's been there now is now in his 6th year, but we could also say we'll go on to later. But yeah, he's not consecutive years because he had a spell back in USA with the Wheeling Nailers and a cup of coffee.
Still the best name in hockey, by the way.
Sorry, a cup of coffee with the Wheeling Nailers, and then he went from there to the Slovak 2nd tier side, Sviska Nova Ves, who are now actually quite a good side in the top league in Slovakia. And then since returning back to Scotland, he's now in his 4th consecutive year as captain. I think anyone will tell you from any team in the league, players and fans, that he's a well-respected player. He's a workhorse, and he's a huge part of why Dundee pull off great results.
What's his game like?
I would say he's a defenseman, and he'll give you an offensive product. But I'd also say that he has
like
defensive responsibility as well. Yeah,
41 the year.
I would say, yeah, he has a bit more of a defensive responsibility about him, although he does contribute heavily going forwards on the rush.
Well, if you look at his plus minus, and everyone knows watches this. No, I fucking hate plus minus. But I find it interesting that on one of the lower side teams last year and probably eating as many minutes as he did, he was only a -2 in 54 games for the Stars, whilst putting up 37 points from the back. Like, you expect some of these guys that eat a lot of minutes to be quite heavily in the minuses. But no, that's interesting. It's also interesting that he went from the WHL and went straight to school, went straight down the University of Calgary U Sports, CIS Sport, and then U Sport. And instead of going into the pro straight away, so he went and got his school, he probably got his degrees and stuff like that. And now he's come straight over to Scotland and barring, like you say, a cup of coffee in the coast, and a few months in Slovakia. He's kind of made Scotland his home. Wore the sea. This is a fourth season. Obviously, a great leader. The fact that they've had different coaches in that time and he still remains to be the captain.
And the player assistant coach.
Oh, there you go. Did not know that. Nice little Brucey bonus to add onto his CV while he's over here. Still only 31, so lots of time left in the game for him. The next player we got to look at, he needs no introduction to the 4,000 and counting fans. It is our boy, Mr. Ben O'Connor. He's going to be wearing the number 83 jersey this year, which I kind of like, actually. It's a bit random. What do you have to say about Oki, man? Like, the guy is an absolute stud. He's been good wherever he's been in the last couple of seasons. Guildford Flames, he's wore the A. In 54 games in 22-23, he picked up 50 points in 54. The following season, so last year, he picked up 35 points in 52 games. Just a solid player. I'm just going to have a quick scan here. How many games has he played for GB? Because it's got to be a shit ton. 28.
Oh, yeah, there's got to be a fair few.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and add them up here. It's not my strong point. He's got over 80 caps for Great Britain. And he's still getting it done at that level. Scores a goal against Team Canada this year at the World Champs, as Mark was telling me before. Like, what a goal that was, eh?
Oh, great goal. That's just an O'Connor move.
Yeah, like the guy's ballsy as anything, right? He in World Champs before. He's gone down a shootout and put it between his legs and gone fucking backwards. And yeah, I mean, if there's a man that's confident in his skills, it's Ben. And he will be, I think, an absolute weapon for Dundee this year.
He's a weapon everywhere he goes. And I don't care who disagrees with me. Just look at his track record. And that's without looking at elite prospects. That's just by following the guy from GB and club level.
Well,
everywhere he goes, he produces. Yeah.
Well, we start when he was a nipper. Under 13 All-Star, under 15 All-Star. And then World Championship, most goals by defenseman, and then a silver medal. Kazakhstan, best defenseman. Kazakhstan bronze medal. The following year, Kazakh, most league assists by defenseman, most points by defenseman. The following year, best plus minus, plus 57, most points by a defenseman, 39, most goals by a defenseman, 17. Kazakhstan league best defenseman, most points by a defenseman, 56. And then the following year, he comes back to the elite league. Best British defenseman, EIHL first team All-Star, British Player of the Year, Elite League champion, most assists by a defenseman, most goals by a defenseman at the World Champs, most points by a defenseman at the World Champs. Following year, once again, best British defenseman, All-Star first team, EIHL champion, and then again at World Champs, most best defenseman, most assists by defenseman, most points by defenseman, most goals by defenseman. Following year, playoff champ, and like it just goes on and on and on. And he goes to Romania. He is an Extraliga champion. He's a Romanian league champion. Talk about motherfuckers that know how to win.
And anyone that says this shit and ever doubted him, I'm sorry, but you know nothing about hockey.
The other thing is, he turns the puck over. Yeah, because he has the fucking puck all the time.
Yeah.
Because if you have the puck a lot, you're going to make more mistakes. It's just what happens. And if you're going to play the way Ben plays as well, you're going to make turnovers. You watch the way he zips take passes. He takes entire zones out of offensive rushes by one quick tape to tape, throwing an 80-foot source. Like he's one of the best, if not the best, British defenseman we've had. So,
you're looking at someone that can add 30 apples a year consistently.
Yeah, at least. And
yeah,
if Ben gets flying and rolling up in Dundee, don't be surprised to see him break the 50-point barrier again this year. Like it'll be no surprise.
Everyone is more than capable of that. Yeah,
there'll be no surprise at all. Right. Obviously, we can sit and give Benny a couple of double wristers all day long, but they do have more players in Dundee. It's not just these two boys. And I'm going to let Mark go with one final one because we were debating. Obviously, we're only doing 3. We can start breaking down every guy on the roster, but that's not what it's about. So, Mark, hit us up with number 3, mate.
Yeah, there's a few, like you say, but I'm going to stick with what I said on another episode and go with Keanu Yamamoto. 28-year-old.
Great name.
Just, yeah,
What a hobby.
great name.
Like the commentators can get right into that when like he scores a goal. They better be going wild with that. That's such a good name for hockey.
I agree. And is another product of U Sports, although not directly out of U Sports. He spent a lot of time with the McGill University and then went on to the Rapid City Rush of the East Coast, ECHL. Okay, look, the numbers might not be, we're still looking around the 40, 50 point mark, which I think is very, very respectable. He's going to come to the Elite League on a roster like Dundee, who every year, by the way, I'd like to say Dundee always find a few gems.
Quite a couple of studs, don't they?
Every year. Yeah, every year. And maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I'm going to put my money on Yamamoto being that guy.
I'm intrigued to see how he is. His stats look good, and he's had a good couple of years on the coast. I think he's going to be good. Don't know much about him, so I don't want to come in here and try and talk shit about something I don't really know about. But after this weekend, we'll have a pretty good idea because we're going to watch them play this Saturday against the Belfast Giants. Finally, Mark, let's go to the Fife Flyers over in Kawaguchi.
Yeah, where do we start? I think let's start with the most obvious one, and that has got to be he's going to be knighted at some point. He's going to be Sir Shane Owen at some point.
They should definitely build a statue of Shane. The thing that I've always found, I've talked about it in yesterday's episode, and I talk about it probably in fucking any time I talk about it. His stats are always above 91. Like the guy's save percentage, he gives you an opportunity to win every time, which that's just brilliant. The fact that Fife have now added a bit more depth. We're going to get into one of the four Kazakh boys that they've signed, but they've added more depth. They've brought in Johnny Curran from Coventry. They've got a couple of good bits and bobs going on in Fife. I think Tom Coolan coming in as coach has really like steadied that ship there. But going back to Shane, he played Major Junior in with the Lake Erie Otters and then the Moncton Wildcats. So not only did he have OHL experience, Quebec Major Junior League experience, East Coast experience, AHL experience, LNAH experience, Sweden, Poland. Like the guy's legit. He's done it all. Even played in the Champions Hockey League with Belfast. He's just an out and out like stalwart of the Elite League. He comes to play every single night. I think I read a stat there that he had 4 shutouts in preseason, or that was his 4th shutout that they played Quebec Three Rivers, and Shane got a shutout. Like it's his 4th preseason shutout with the Flyers. The guy just stops pucks. Even in preseason, you can't get one by him. Like it's just the easiest bit of business Fife do every year. Bring him back
every year, and it is fantastic business. Fantastic business to bring him back. And I think that if he was on any given what we would associate with maybe one of the arena teams, he would perform. And he did that in Belfast. And that year he finished with the best goals against average. So if you put him up on a team which is financially stronger, he's shown both at the lower end of the table. No disrespect to Fife. I like you as a club, but he's also proven it at the top level. Sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes guys can perform with a great roster in front of them with lots of money, but they struggle with the lesser team in that respect. But
it also works the other way as well, though. Works the other way where like a goalie's used to, I don't know, playing for Fife and having 40 shots against every
100
night.
shots, yeah.
And 80 shots a weekend. Then you go to Belfast and you face 27 shots on a weekend, but you've got to be fucking dialed in.
Yeah.
For those 27 shots. And that's when, like, what we call the squeakers. One squeaks in behind the back of your pad, or it bounces off your 5-hole and then hits the inside. Just they go in, and when you're having like not a lot of shots, you have to be really, really focused. It's very difficult for a goalie. What else have we got on our list? So obviously Shane, absolute stud. Let's go to our second player, Mark. This is all you.
Yeah, let's go for. Okay, let's go with Johnny Curran. Let's go with GB International Johnny Curran.
Yeah,
I think that's a great bit of business.
well, I think he struggled. We talked about, well, the goalies. It can go one way or the other. Johnny Curran was absolutely lights out for Coventry. He gets his big move, goes across to Belfast. Now, for whatever reason, it didn't pan out. He played 22 games in Belfast, only picking up 3 goals and 5 points in total. So, for a man of his stature, that's going to be enough to really piss him off, I would have thought. He wants to be in the mix. He wants to be scoring points. He wants to be scoring goals. He wants to be contributing. And he goes back to Coventry and he jumps straight back on the horse, 21 points in 28 games. If you look at his kind of career kind of averages, and well, elite league career anyway, but his first year straight out of University of Niagara, he had 26 points in 47 games. He goes away, splits the next year with SPHL on the coast, but then comes back and he's up at 47 points in 54, and then a career year in 22-23 where he had 53 points in 54 games, including 24 goals. That earned him his international call up with Great Britain. Played some Div 1 games. He's played some World Champ games. He's ended up playing quite a few games for Great Britain now and being part of that fixture list. He didn't play in the. Did he play this tournament just gone?
Yeah,
he did play in this tournament just gone.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, like I like him as a player. I think he's good. I think he's going to bring a lot to Fife. It's a solid bit of business for Fife. I think the Flyers fans are going to love him.
Yeah, they need a solid Brit and someone that represents GB. Well, they don't need, but I think that it would really strengthen Fife. I think the experience that he has, knowing the Elite League as well, and you can see by his resume that he obviously performs, like I was just saying about the lower end teams. Again, no disrespect. He performed solidly for Coventry, like consistently for his 2.5 seasons. His points production is phenomenal. He was a fan's favourite. Struggled with Belfast, but that Belfast team had a lot of guys and he probably didn't get the ice time that he needed. But, it doesn't always work out at the top clubs. And at Fife, I think he's going to find himself at home. He's going to get a lot of ice time. He's going to log a lot of minutes. And I think his production is going to go straight up like he's done for Coventry. I think a good bit of business from Fife. And I also say another great big business with Fife, I fucked that up, is Maxim Musero from Kazakhstan, one of four.
Nice, by the way.
23 years old, off the back of playing in the KHL and in the Kazakhstan domestic league. He's an international. Had a couple of games in the recent World Championships. He's also played in the VHL in Russia.
Do you know what stands out for me, Mark?
Go for it.
VHL champion 22-23, Continental Cup champion 23-24.
We have a winner.
Like, when we talk about this, guys, I can't stress it enough. It sounds like a really easy, milky thing to say. But I know from sitting in the locker room, if you sign a guy that's just won fucking 2 trophies a year before, he won a league and a playoffs, or you sign a guy that's just came out in North America who's just went 4 long playoff rounds and won the Kelly Cup, or they've won a Continental Cup, so they beat different teams throughout. That brings experience into your locker room, and it's massive. It's massive. They know what it's like to be in the trenches. They know what it's like to dig in and block that shot with 5 seconds to go, or they skate that little bit harder on a back check because they know that's what it takes to win. And again, we tossed up who to put in these. When you pick only 3, it's very, very difficult. But Mark went with him, and the more I look at him, the more I'm looking forward to watching him play. In fact, I'm really looking forward to watching all 4 Kazakh boys play. I think we've got through this episode without letting the fans know you're coming with.
Yes,
you got the late draft. He's a late call up. He's got the flight. He's got the hotel. 4,000 counting together once again. And why not? We finished the season together at the playoff finals weekend. We might as well be there for the opening game of the Challenge Cup, bringing you more Elite League content. So this weekend sees both Fife and Dundee have back-to-back home games. Belfast obviously start with a back-to-back road trip. The Clan, they start on the road with back-to-back. So lots of Challenge Cup games coming this September, thick and fast. Not very many league games. I think counted yesterday. Maybe only 8 or 9 league games, like 15, 16 Challenge Cup games. Looks like they're trying to like get this Challenge Cup through a bit quicker this year, get into the league action, which I'm here for. But I think obviously we've had great experiences at the Challenge Cup before, and when it gets down to it, I like the fact this year the format. We haven't talked about that at all, actually. So the format this year, obviously, with the Scottish teams plus Belfast, and then the rest. Although it is a 4 and a 6 group, it seems a bit odd. But logistically, money wise, travel wise, it does make sense. Basing it on the back of what they've done, they've said the runner up from no, so you have the winners of both groups go straight through to the semi final. The runner up of the English teams, which, come on, listen, it is all the bigger teams. It is a tougher group, no doubt about it. The runner-up goes straight through. And then the third place team from that group will play the second place team from the Scottish and Belfast group to make up the fourth semi-finalist. I like it. Willing to let it see how it plays out and see how it pans out. But I do like that. I like the fact that they've kind of got rid of an extra round of quarterfinal games. I don't think we need that. Straight semi-finals is fine. I would like to see them make a weekend out of it, i.e. the Final Four. We know that weekend makes money. We know it's supported. Nottingham does work great, but maybe for the Challenge Cup, we could take it somewhere else, or we could take it on the road. 10,000 people in Sheffield. That'd be pretty cool. I know it was there last year, but that was just the way it worked. But I don't know. I'd like to see it on the road, maybe up in Scotland one year, maybe in Belfast one year, but get a Final Four weekend going. Like, I could definitely get on board with going and getting after it in Belfast for a fucking weekend of hockey and hanging out in Belfast. Yeah, like there's so many cities in the UK that are in that elite league that you could go. Yeah, let's go. Like when that new Manchester rink, take it up there. Manchester's a great city for a weekend. Like, so I'll be interested to see how the elite league go. Any final thoughts, Mark?
I agree with you. I think I'm not into this inclusive brigade and all of that, but I will say that it does need to be shared. We need to represent Wales. We need to represent Scotland, England, and of course, Belfast, Ireland, Northern Ireland. Everyone needs a representation. We need to be more, everyone is involved instead of just shutting it off to one place.
I know we're hypothetically talking here, guys, because as it stands right now, there is no Final Four Challenge Cup weekend. But this is a hypothetical one. I would love to see it. I really enjoyed the Final Four weekend this year. Obviously, I've been quite a few times now, but it was great. Obviously, we were working this year, so it's slightly different for us. But being a part of the atmosphere, fans, the band, it's a good crack. Obviously, everyone's having pints and enjoying themselves, singing and dancing, and just it is a really good weekend. We all know, and this is a story for another video at some point. I want a playoff series. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's all I really care about.
We're just trying to get a playoff series going. And don't get me wrong, Tony, Todd, and Simsy, we asked all of them the same question. Business is business. I do get it. I do understand. And they berate me because I always bring it up. But it's just the purist in me, The purist in me would love to see Belfast Giants, Sheffield Steelers, 7 games.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Just kicking the fucking shit out of each other. Guys playing through injuries, guys getting shot in the knee so they can skate. All like the stuff that you don't hear about until 3 months after the series finished. This guy's playing with a broken rib, and this guy, his hand was hanging off, and just all the stuff. And then you go, fucking hell, he scored like 2 goals out. It's like the boys are like, yeah, his hand was like taped to his stick. Just that all like the stuff. By the way, I'm not saying I want all the boys to get injured before anyone starts getting wild there. What I am saying is, like, when you have playoff series, it really does separate the men from the boys. And it gives you, there's enough rivalry within the UK already, within the Elite League. But think how much more it would be based on 7 games. It would be nuts.
How much fight is in a dog? How you go out, people smoke each other, people want to hurt each other. You've got if it goes 7 games, really, rivalries are built. Twitter, social media in general, is going to be an absolute disaster. it's already a shit show during the season. But my gosh, if there was a playoff series, times that by 100, and it's gonna be awful. But in terms of the product that you'll get, I promise you, it will be the best you ever watch.
But ladies and gents, that's been Road Tripping episode 2. The next episode will be from Bonnie, Scotland itself. Mark, I will see you in 2 days, ladies and gents. We will see you this weekend. Make sure you subscribe and do all the other good stuff. Please share with your fans, comment, get involved, help us boost this YouTube algorithm back up. Obviously, we're taking like 3 or 4 months off here, so we're just getting back into the swing of things, but more content's going to be coming, and we will see you very, very soon. Peace.
Peace.